Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Games Jobs Live live stream. I'm Harry Petch, the Community and Content Manager for Games Jobs Live. Today, we've got another UK report. I've pointed the wrong way. The UK report. Yeah, UK Jobs Report for May of 2025. It's just me for today, so we're going to keep it nice and simple. Also, the sun's really lovely and shiny outside. So, thank you for spending some of your time today. If the weather is quite nice where you are, spending it watching it while I go and give you a little digest of how the UK games industry is doing. But yeah, I think we'll be keeping this one kind of like a little bit sort of shorter around this time because I'm also recovering from, I'm also recovering a little bit from something today. So apologies if that's coming through with my voice. But show must go on. Anyway, so this is the UK report for May of 2025. It's literally just come out on our emails as of like I think a couple of hours ago actually. Which if you want to get access to these reports and also the more detailed versions of them specifically, if you go to gamesjobs.live, you can find the contact to not only sign up for the summary versions of these reports as they come out every month, but you can also find Colin's email, which is colin@gamesjobs.live, who you can contact if you want to get access to the more detailed information, which is really helpful if you're like a studio, if you're doing any market analysis, that kind of thing. That would be a lot more of a useful resource. But without further ado, let's have a quick crack into things. So as per usual, you probably know the Game Jobs Live reports by now if you're tuning in. But for those who are new, these are monthly reports we compile from our regular like jobs board, which our jobs board, we track every job posting that sort of happens in the UK and also in some other countries as well. We're sort of trying to expand into again like Australia, areas in Europe and hopefully in like Canada, stuff like that. We're still working on that. However, we track a lot of every job that is posted from all of these companies, and pretty much in the UK, all of the companies across the UK. And we can use this to therefore collate some different trends in hiring, increases, decreases of jobs in different sectors, that kind of thing. See what kind of hubs are in like the top 6 standing for like games in the UK, that kind of thing. But yeah, so if we go into this month's overall statistics, 136 games companies had 745 roles open this month, which is pretty cool because that's about an 8%, roughly 8% increase from last month in April, which had just under 700 roles. So, that's good to see that we're sort of seeing a good bit of a rise in about like 50 extra roles that are added. And obviously, this is not counting for stuff like roles that have already been filled and then been brought back up again. So, there's growth of 50 jobs. Pretty good if you're sort of in the market looking for them. Now, if we take a quick look at our good old maps, the ones comparing April to May, this month again, this month has just let's just take a quick look through some of the interesting ones here. Rockstar Games, obviously very much in the news right now, especially considering the development cycle for GTA 6 seems to be taking a little bit longer than potentially even they were originally thinking, or they publicly announced obviously that GTA 6 coming out May of next year, which is a pretty solidified date in their books now, so they're not going to want to miss that. So might put a bit more context as to what they're hiring, who and how they've been hiring, and this will be across their Edinburgh and like different like Edinburgh studio, London studio, Dundee studio as well. And from anecdotally what I've seen on the LinkedIns and all that, it's been a lot of jobs that are like there's been a few that are in like QA and like some sort of junior ones that have occasionally sort of come up then, but there's also been a couple calls for like some more mid-level and senior sort of more like engineering ones, if I understand correctly. So, that kind of is indication, again, they're very much trying to polish up a lot of their experience for launch, bring a lot of that manpower into it. So, I think that's a interesting little thing to consider. Also this month, like Epic Games, they've had, also I forgot to actually say Rockstar Games. Yeah, they've got currently 49 jobs open. That's 10 more than last month. There we go. Epic Games, we can see they've got 9 new jobs coming up in 9 new jobs added, bringing them up to 42. Cloud Imperium, their job openings, they've stayed around the same since last month as well. Sony, they were going down a bit. They were previously in like number 2 spots, but they were going down a bit. They've added a few more jobs, 3 new jobs, bringing them up to 34. And overall, in terms of the top 10, what's interesting this time is that let me quickly grab my notes. Yeah, only 7 of these top 10 companies have 20 or more open roles. And that's Rockstar, they've got 49 open roles, Epic Games with 42 open roles, Cloud Imperium with 41 open roles, PlayStation with 34, Pole to Win with 29, Maverick with 24, and Rebellion with 22. And yeah, Playground Games, they've only got 18 roles open. So, they've just seen a reduction of 2 job openings. So perhaps those have potentially been filled. Good on them. That sounds pretty cool. And also in that list is also Gunzilla as well, who had 21 open roles last month, but now are down to 17, which, is pretty interesting. Just looking around real quick, there's a couple of interesting ones, although like there have been some layoffs at like EA and some like Devolver Digital of these subsidiary studios. It's interesting to see that EA is actually still on this list and seen actually an increase in some jobs that they are hiring for, which is, I think, pretty interesting. If again, it was particularly with like Respawn and the Apex Legends studio, them letting go of some people, whereas EA over here in like say the UK or in other locations are actually still hiring. So suppose that is a bit of an interesting statistic to pull out. What's interesting, so we've seen over 50 new jobs, and these have been across mostly AA and AAA studios. And another statistic that's been pulled out by some of the advanced insights here is that apparently very few studios have actually closed or filled a significant number of roles this month. So yeah, a lot of these like roles, a lot of these reductions potentially are the sort of pink arrow downs are jobs being closed but potentially like not filled, or some potentially filled, or rather there's more like a delta there that can't really be fully tracked. A couple of the insights from this list is that like many of the jobs that are open this month are like fixed term contracts, which like last month there were like hardly any fixed term contracts, which was really interesting. But this time, there's been a 36% like increase in those contract positions. So yeah, like 61 of these jobs are 61 of these like 745 jobs are fixed term ones, and the other 684 are all like permanent positions. Which again, that's only like a 5% growth for permanent roles, which is very interesting. Also, we've added to our database another new company, Magic Notion, to this list. So we'll be tracking their jobs as well. Yeah, taking a quick look at some of this list, a couple of companies that stick out that haven't been on this list previously. Rocksteady, they've had an increase. They've added 7 new jobs. Rocksteady, I want to just quickly remember which games Rocksteady do. Rocksteady, obviously they're based in London, and I'm totally not stalling for a second. Yeah, they're Batman Arkham, Suicide Squad. Yeah, they're a pretty good studio based in London. They like to hire quite frequently. So it's good to see them back on the list, particularly after obviously like Suicide Squad, as a project, like, arguably like, not doing very well. It's good to see that they're still hiring and trying to build for the next project, especially because, there's a lot of games industry news about different companies that, have a great history, have like one, like project that doesn't do well to expectations and then ending up going under. Good to see that Rocksteady still seems to be supported on that front, though. Trying to take a quick look, and not many of these other companies don't know what much to talk about. Oh, IO Interactive. They've closed 6 jobs actually since last time. They were all the way up on the second row, but yeah, they've only got 12 open positions now across like their like 5 studios, I believe they have. It's very interesting. And I mentioned Unity as well. Yeah, I think those are some of the very those ones that stick out to me immediately. Oh, 2K. 2K are on here actually. 2K, they've got 9 open roles currently, which are plus 8. And yeah, 2K, those would be a lot of like promotion and publishing jobs, I would believe. But yeah, I think overall it's interesting to see there's a different like mix of companies on this list. Good to see that some of the numbers have started to increase on this front, especially as we sort of go into the summer months. It'll be interesting to see, how like how like seasonally hiring trends will end up like changing. If they'll end up getting more, be less. We'll find this kind of stuff out as we go along. If we move on to, let's say, like the regional breakdown, let's take a quick peek at how things are doing regionally. So, apologies, I don't know why that has happened. I'm having a bit of technical issues today. Well, ignore the top bar that is just appearing there. Here we go. Let's go back to here. Here we go. There we are. So in terms of some of these statistics, 49.4% of the roles that are listed in the UK are outside of London and the Southeast, which is exactly the same statistic as last month's, which is really interesting, completely unchanged. It normally fluctuates between about like 51% and 49% anyway, but I think that's quite a fun little thing. If we look at some of the different breakdowns of the games hubs, a lot of the positions largely stay like largely the same. But one thing that's interesting is that as a games hub, remote positions has suddenly just kind of arrived on this list, which is interesting. And I don't know what to I don't really know what to say about this other than I think that's very interesting that, compared to a lot of these jobs like London, Leamington Spa, and Manchester, in-person on-site jobs, remote jobs are like the 4th largest. Yeah, remote jobs seem to sort of have like basically the 4th largest what's the word, amount of jobs that are available. Yeah, just to kind of go and show how much, how there are still quite a lot of remote working or hybrid positions that are still out there. Let's take a look. A couple of some other interesting statistics to pull out here include, London. So again, London's seen a quite massive increase in opportunities this month. Again, seeing stuff like Rocksteady, EA, or like, a couple of these studios that are based in the London area, just adding a job here and there. Again, tallies up in London especially. Like they've currently have 279 open roles within the London area, and that's an increase of 28 from last month. Closely followed by Leamington Spa. They've currently got 92 jobs open within the area. That's a plus 8. And for Manchester, which is currently the number 3, they've got 55 currently open roles, with that being plus 3. And yeah, looking at it, Guildford sort of has remained the same with about 45 jobs open. And in that last little place, again, Edinburgh, good, big up Edinburgh. It's good to see that they've got another 4 new jobs opened up, leading to about 31 open roles currently. And yeah, not featured on this list as well, but it's good to see Liverpool. Now, if we went back to the previous slide, Universally Speaking, which are based in Liverpool, I believe, they had 4 new jobs, and it's good to sort of note that again, Liverpool's also, again, that's reflected in the Liverpool stats. Liverpool's increased by about 6 new job openings as well. 4 of those obviously from Universally Speaking. Don't know about where the other one comes from those. Well, that's interesting. But yeah, I think some other things to sort of note as well. Just a bit more of a regional breakdown. Largely remaining quite similar to the last months. Again, West Midlands has recently just broken over having 100 open roles in the region itself. 106 currently open roles if you're in West Midlands area. So yeah, that's plus 11 from last month. The Southeast area in general, 102 open positions in general. That's about minus 4 from last month. London's got 200, 200 and 79 open roles, which is quite a lot. Yeah, plus 28. And yeah, looking around again, we see a couple of like plus nine jobs in general in the northwest area, 78 open roles if you're in the northwest of England. And if you're in Yorkshire, again, plus 4 roles. So you've got 16 open roles that are currently there. And Wales, interestingly, we've got plus 3 roles happening in there. So there's about 10 open roles currently from companies in Wales. And looking around on the other areas, a lot of things are staying the same. Still, Northern Ireland not having any job openings, which, you know, is a bit concerning and sad, to be honest. But and looking at some of these different stats, jobs by like studio, again, it's largely AAA, AA, and service industries. So AAA having about 380 jobs, that's plus 38. AA having 151 jobs in the sector, that's about like 11 extra than last month. And for service industries, it's like 83 current jobs, that's plus 9. And if we sort of break down some of the seniority levels by this, good for juniors. Last month there were only like 11 junior jobs that were open. Now there are at least 15. So that's a plus 4 new jobs. Those are going to go very quickly. Good luck to you if you're going to apply for those. The biggest increases have definitely been in the experienced and like managerial sort of positions. Experienced like mid-level developers, 334 job openings in the area. So that's like plus 20. And manager jobs, plus 24, bringing those to 175 jobs in the chart. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. And I believe the PDF report, if you download it from the website, contains it all in like a little pie chart as well for you to kind of be able to keep track of on that front and visualize that. Yeah, if we take a look at some of the discipline breakdowns. So discipline breakdowns wise, largely, so compared to last month, it was a whole pretty big sea of red arrows. But this month we've kind of seen a bounce back, and there being a lot of disciplines opening roles in a bunch of these different disciplines. Very specifically, code of course still being having almost like double the amount of jobs than art, of just being like number one. Code has seen the biggest increase, having 17 new roles added, with basically 273 new roles. Other big increases, include the promotion, promoting community management. They've currently got 37 open roles in that district, which is plus 11 from last month. And QA as well, there's 9 new roles open there, so that's bringing that up to 23. And yeah, largely some of the outside of that, taking a look at some of this data now, we see analytics and design and finance also about like a -5 jobs in the area. So those jobs closing or otherwise being filled, but seemingly this month it's more closing rather than filling. Bringing design down to 65 current open roles in the discipline, as well as for analytics down to 14 open roles, and for finance down to 8 open roles currently. And yeah, a couple other interesting ones. Obviously, art, 135 open roles, that's plus 6. Will be interesting, actually. And next week, I think we'll be doing a jobs board highlights, where I want to take a look through a bunch of 2D and 3D art roles, because we've not done that yet. And on the Games Jobs Live Discord, saw that was also quite popular in our poll that we did. So 2D, 3D art, we'll take a look at that, see like what the distribution is, like how many 2D roles there are versus 3D. And, that'll be interesting to see. Yeah, that's 135 roles that are currently open in that area. Production, very short, third immediately after, 89 roles currently in that. And yeah, brilliant. So it's good to see a couple in increases. But something that does remain largely the same, of course, common job titles. A software engineer is the most common job title. 10 roles matching that title immediately. The rest of them, again, in terms of seniority, if I just count this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Only about 11 of these top 30 roles that are shown on here are senior positions. The rest of them are mostly mid-level positions. But interestingly, it's one of these really small ones. One of these really small ones on this list. I don't actually know if it is in the graphic, but interestingly, assistant producer. So that's again fairly like an entry sort of production role, assisting an associate production. 3 assistant producer roles currently in that job title. So that's very, very handy, very cool. Some other good ones to see in terms of the top 10. Senior gameplay programmer and senior VFX artist, 7 open roles. I think that's exactly the same as last month. Those roles probably just haven't been filled, which is very interesting. And environment artist, production, and senior game designer all having 6 like jobs that basically match that title, and the other ones including a whole bunch of 5 job titles like lead VFX artist, senior UI artist, UI programmer, tech artist, tools programmer, and VFX artist. Lots of different names to read out there. So yeah, it seems like very much like a quite an even spread across all of these different disciplines. There's like 4 game developer roles, and when typically there's like game developer roles, they tend to be sort of talking about like, I guess, sort of jack of all trade kind of jobs, but leaning more towards people who are more gameplay programmers. So, even though something like, again, we can see here on the graph, like game developer and gameplay programmer having different job titles, those probably can conform into the same roles, really. But yeah. Right. And I think overall with that, just in general to kind of sum up, so despite how one other thing to just sort of note as well, which I completely forgot to mention actually, quickly dive in on the way back because we can. Ubisoft, I didn't know if I could see Ubisoft on this list, but obviously Ubisoft have they closed down one of their big studios. That's why they really fell off the list last month. But this month, actually, they've opened up 5 new roles in Newcastle, explaining some of those openings in that area. And even though they closed Ubisoft Leamington Spa, like Ubisoft Reflections up in Newcastle had seen 5 new jobs be opened, and those are ones that include junior roles as well. I think junior level designers specifically. Most of like the different regions, they've seen an increase in available jobs. The only exceptions being like the southeast and the southwest, which have sort of seen a very like sort of stagnation on that front. Sort of a lot of the new jobs that have been added were sort of at this managerial level and the experience level, whereas like the number of jobs at indie and service companies, they've increased slightly, but like mobile studios, again, they've kind of fallen slightly. So Rockstar Games, a bit more context about the Rockstar Games openings is that their roles in Edinburgh and London, and they're mostly related to performance capture and UI. So again, late stage development, that's very much going to be polishing and doing some like, mocap and fixing that up for different scenes. Very interesting stuff. But other studios that have significantly increased their job offerings are like Epic Games, 2K Games, Rocksteady, and Rebellion. And yeah, some studios that have been closing and filling or removing a lot of those positions are mostly like IO Interactive and Megabit Publishing, as we previously mentioned. Yeah, it's a bit of a short live stream today, everybody. But thank you so much for checking in. Next week we're gonna have a jobs board highlight stream, because if you have been listening to me for the past few months, we're obviously still organizing the Game Parade Game Jam. For those who have missed some of the announcements for signing up, we have had to push it back a tiny little bit by about 3 weeks. So really sorry for like the disappointment on that front. However, we're really trying to make sure the product is really awesome. So even though if you want to take part of this, it's going to be like a good little summer jam for the 10 days. You can still find the link. It is going to be on screen right here. So you can check that one out. And it'd be really good to see a lot of you there, and hopefully the timing might also work better with like holidays or anything like that. But good to hear. Hey, will be good to hear any of your thoughts in the comment section below. What you think about some of the different like jobs and how some of the different trends that we sort of been discussing here. A lot of similar information from last month. I kind of feel just moving in a bit more of a direction, maybe a bit slower is what I'd kind of feel. But yeah, got a couple few more going for this month, and we'll see you next time. So thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Have a nice rest of your day. See you later, everybody.